Your ears are not deceiving you. Welcome to the lap of luxury. Welcome to the lap of luxury. I'm your host, the fabulous Neil Brown. And on tonight's show, we have our colleagues here with questions. A one-on-one exclusive interview with healer and oracle, Shakeinah Ninah, and of course, intuitive insight. Stay tuned, as you are now in the lap of luxury. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Lap of Luxury. I'm your host, the fabulous Leo Brown. Thank you and good evening. I am going to try to watch the live stream as I am on here. I'm going to try. I may not be able to do it. I'm going to try my best to, because I know there's a way that you can watch it to where you can see what's going on. So I'm going to try to watch it, but I may not be able to. But anyway, so welcome. I hope you guys are having a fabulous Thursday thus far. Let's see. So thank you for joining me tonight. And pretty soon we will have our special guest, Shakeinah Ninah, also known as Get You Some Free. Hey, love. Hey, okay. So I'm watching it. I'm watching myself back. So this is kind of odd for me. But anyway, so what I wanted to do was start, of course, with our caller, you say what question, which is, do you think that race, in terms of race relations, have we progressed or have we digressed? And my other question to you is, in what way, if you could, in what way would you improve, or what would you do to improve race relations? So that's my question for today. I hope all of you are having a great day. To me, you know, my day has been pretty good. I can't complain. I'm trying out something new, so you'll get to actually see Ms. Davis and I interview together, side by side. I'm going to try to get this to work. So hopefully it works out and it looks good. And as I said before, I'm actually watching this in real time. So I'm looking at all the questions. I'm looking at all the comments. Be sure to like it, show me some love, give me plenty of shares if you can, share it if you want to. Hello to everybody. So I really want to start with that question first. How has race relations improved in this, not just in this country, but I think around the world? That's my question. So how has race relations improved? Has it progressed? Has it digressed? So let's see. We have a comment from Miss Thomas, Miss Tiffany Thomas. She says, the first question, she says she thinks that it's been the same, just more open. And she says, to answer the second part, she thinks that if we got people talking to one another, it would help us to open up further discussion and dialogue. People fear what they don't know, and it is easier to hate someone you don't know. That's a very valid point. I agree with that. Now that actually brings up another question for me. So where would you start? Like, where would you start? Because let's be honest, I think having a dialogue about race or race relations, that's a very hard topic. That's a very hard conversation to have. So what my question to you would be, how would you start that conversation? What would you say? that kind of brings in another question. What would you say to provoke conversation where it can be civil, it can be a discussion instead of an argument? Because I think when it comes to things like that, we often get into arguments rather than discussions, and no one really progresses. No one really gets anywhere. So, I mean, that's just my personal opinion. But hey, what do I know? So, but that would be my question. How would you start that? How would you start that conversation? What would you say? What would you, yeah, what would you say? What would you say? What would you do? What would you, what would you say in terms of having a conversation and talking about race and how it relates in this country? But that's a great answer. That's a great comment. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you so much for even having the wherewithal to even talk about that, because like I said, this is not an easy conversation. This is not easy at all. So, I just wanted to get the ball rolling. But, how do you feel about it? Do you feel that we've progressed? Do you feel that we have digressed? Because I think in some levels we've progressed. I think on some levels we have digressed, but that's just me. Personally, I think that, and I actually agree with Tiffany, I think that race has always been here. I mean, way before we were even in existence, that's always been an issue because it's differences. And I think it's all about how you approach differences, whether they be racial, whether they be cultural, whatever they may be. I also think that it is a hard conversation, but it must be had. I mean, luckily for me, I live in a very diverse city, but being the fact that it is a diverse city, and I've lived in small towns where it wasn't so diverse. So even in that, it's like, it's still a subject that you have to talk about. You have to discuss. It has to be done. And I think it's all about how you say it. I think it's all about not what you say, but how you say it, in my opinion. And I would say just ask why you have certain questions, instead of putting people in a box, because unfortunately we tend to do that. We tend to put people in boxes. And I wouldn't say people, but I think things we don't know, people we don't know. We tend to put them in boxes rather than accept them for what and who they are, which is not easy. So, okay. So another comment is, and this is from Tiffany. Once again, she says, I work with someone who absolutely does not like immigrants because she thinks that they get more than regular citizens. I typically ask, what is it, or what misconceptions do you have about X type of people? Have you actually spoke to someone? Let's see. Have you actually spoke to someone? Hold on for just a minute, because I actually want to read this whole thing. Have you actually spoke to someone within that community? I'm a first-generation American on my mother's side of the family, and I'm having to have a lot of discussion because of it being that my mother is from Mexico herself. It is difficult to talk to people who don't know, who don't want to listen, versus who genuinely want to know about different cultures, races, and religions. Once again, I'm going to pin that. That's a great comment, Tiffany. That's an awesome comment that you said. Thank you. Because I think that is true. I think that, like I said, we fear what we don't know. We fear what we don't understand. And I'm going to be honest. Have I been guilty of that? I have. I've been guilty of that with my own people. With certain things, I'm just like, well, really? Why? Because everyone, not one person is the same. We are alike in some ways, but we're also different in a lot of ways too. And I think that, we have such an issue with not just differences, but I think with living in a world, living in our own bubbles. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. Living in our own bubbles. I think we have such, a difference, or such an issue with that. Because we tend to we don't get out of our own backyards until it's much, much too late. And then as we get, because I find that as we get older, we then ask questions like, well, why is this, and why is that? Whereas I think when we're young, I think that's where we need to start. It's kind of like that old saying, it all begins at home, and unfortunately we don't do that enough, in my opinion. And that goes for everybody, black, white, blue, green, doesn't matter, because we're all human underneath. But I think, we don't know how to have that hard conversation and say, hey, I want to know more about your culture, or, I want to know why in your culture this is so prevalent. Like for me, I love a lot of Bulgarian music. I love a lot of what people over here would call Eurotrash music, but I love it because for me, it's a way of me opening up to the culture and me learning about it through the music. Or one of the ways that I've learned a lot about the Latino community was through the music, through the telenovelas, even though I know those are very, very much stereotypical things, but it was a good way for me to say, okay, well, let me step out of this box, because I know this isn't TV, and I know that, life is not a music video, but let me ask questions to people who are of this descent and say, well, hey, why do we do this? Why do we do that? Or why do you do this? Or what does that mean? So you can open your mind, you can learn, because I feel that when you learn, you grow. Well, hopefully. So I really want to know your thoughts. Okay. So Jen Derry says, there's also a lot of misconceptions and ill-educated people that seem to think that immigrants want to leave their homeland. No one ideally wants to leave. People migrate because of opportunity or to escape oppression or violence. Very, very valid point. Very good point. That's true. And I kind of look at it like this, like with the whole immigration thing, since we're getting on that. I look at it like this. It's a lot like, at least to me, in my opinion, and I know this topic is really heavy, but I just really want to talk about it. And this is a global issue. I agree, because it happens with everybody. I kind of equate it to, though I don't think it's the same, but I kind of equate it to like a lot of people, like we now have an influx of people who are moving, who are natural born citizens, moving to different states. Like, how every time you turn around, like there's a meme going around about how a lot of Black people, they move to either Atlanta or they move to Texas. and I think in a way, you migrating is the same thing. You just want a better life. You want something, you see opportunity, for those who have migrated to America. You see opportunity, but let's be real, that's what our ancestors did. Well, not our ancestors, but that's what a lot of European ancestors did. That's what a lot of Italians did. That's what a lot of Irish people did. That's what a lot of British people did. They came over here to escape oppression. Okay. So I think it's the same thing. I think it's literally that same concept. And I think, unfortunately, people don't get that. They don't get that it's not that, oh my God, I'm going to walk the streets of gold and everything is going to smell like cinnamon and they're going to be cute puppies everywhere. No, but it's more of, okay, I see opportunity. I see growth here. I see growth either individually for myself or for my family. I can stretch $1. I can learn a different language. Like today, actually, I met a man. He was actually my Lyft driver. He actually went to he just recently, like I think like maybe a week ago, he got his citizenship. He was now a fully born American citizen, and he was from Venezuela. And I could feel how happy he was just to call himself an American citizen. And he was just like, yeah, I just got it. And he just glowed because he was like, now all I have to do is get my passport so I can travel back and forth, because that's what I was doing earlier today. I was actually going to get my passport so I can do international travel, because I am going to be international. But that's neither here nor there. But the point that I'm making is, I saw how happy he was to be, what's the word? To be, and I don't want to say accepted, because that's not the right word I want to use, but I think to be a part of something greater than himself. to really be like, you know what, I'm really wanting to grow, to move on, to move into bigger and greater things, greener pastures, as they say. Okay, so Dave Rogers says, and speaking of our ancestors, people look at me and would consider that, let's see, that my biggest ancestors would be African American when they are actually British and Irish. So a lot of misconceptions are a big part. That's a very valid point, because I often get that too, Dave. I actually had one person tell me, well, you don't look black, so why would you call yourself or choose to be black? To my face. And I get it all the time. I often hear, well, what do you mix with? Because you don't look black. And the whole acting black and talking. That's a whole nother topic. That's a whole other topic for another day. We're not going to get into the acting black, talking black, who's down. We're not getting into that. That's a whole nother show, baby. Trust and believe, honey. Trust it. But we will talk about that, though, because I'm gonna talk about that. I'm gonna talk about colorism in the African American community, because I think it needs to be discussed and addressed in communities of color in general, because it's not just the African American community; it's the Latinos with the palo malo. I probably said it wrong, but with the bad hair, the skin lightening that's going on over in India, in Southeast Asia, things like that. But that's a whole nother show. So yeah, that's a very valid point. Thank you for saying that and sharing that, Dave, because I have often had it happen to me where people are like, well, you don't look it, you don't, Yeah, so that's very true, because oftentimes we have more, I think we're more integrated than we want to believe, all of us, no matter what race we are. So that's just me. But I'm loving the fact that you guys are actually wanting to and willing to discuss this. But I'm going to ask the question again. Has race relations, in terms of race relations, have we digressed or have we progressed? What say you? I really want to know your thoughts on this. What do you think? Leave them down below, comment. And in what way would you, if life could give you a magic wand, in what way would you want to talk about it? In what way would you want to address this issue? Because as Jen Derry said, and she's absolutely correct, this is definitely a global issue. It's not just a black, white, even though we make it that way and media perpetuates that oftentimes, but it's not a black, white issue. It's a global issue all day, every day, So yeah, I agree 110%. Okay, and Jendari says it depends. She's on the fence. Huh. Okay. So now? My question to you would be, well, what are we on the fence about? If you can you elaborate on that? Because I don't think we have I don't think we have a magic wand, that's going to resolve this issue. But I think if we were to sit down and have an actual, genuine, real, honest, transparent discussion, it would be great. But unfortunately, I think a lot of us, we don't know how to do that. But I think that's just one of the many, 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 many hard conversations that we all have to have. It happens. Because no matter what, you're going to run into some differences, even in your own culture. Because even if you look at like the Black nerd movement, or like people who are into comics and role-playing games, I myself, I am not a nerd. I am a geek. I shouldn't say that. I'm a pop culture nerd. I'll say that. But I'm definitely not one who was into comics. I'm definitely not one. But I do love me some X-Men and Jim and the Holograms, and those are all comics. And Superman and Batman and blah 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 blah. Okay. So Jendari says she feels like we're stuck. I think so. I think I kind of equate it to, and I actually agree with this too. I think that it's a lot like being in a beautiful, beautiful mansion, and you have this one room in your home that you've never cleaned. And suddenly you go into this room and there's snakes and bugs and all these critters in it. And you never took the time to gut it out, at the root. And I think that's what's going on now. And it's just erupting. That's my personal opinion. I do agree with that. I think we have not discussed race the way we should, the way we need to, and the way we should. I think that there's a lot that goes into it. And I think at the basis of it all, there's a lot of fear. I think fear is at the basis. I really do. Because we fear what we, as Tiffany said, we fear what we don't know. And I think that's what's really going on. So, okay. So we are almost done with this topic. I'm so glad that you guys are willing to not only listen to me ramble, but but to chime in on it. It makes me, it feels awesome to know that you guys are really wanting to talk about this. So I want to get into our next guest. I want to do a little introduction on her. And I want to get her on here so you guys can meet her and get to know her. I think you'll love her. And she's such a sweetheart. She's such a bright shining light. At least to me, she is someone that I've come to know as a colleague, and very much a sweet, warm, just wonderful individual, and she is the founder of Get You Some Free, honey. And I love the name. I love the name, Get You Some Free. Get You Some Free. And I'm going to ask her what she means when she says Get You Some Free. So, but she's fantastic. And she is an oracle. She's a healer. She, what else does she do? She is, my goodness, just a Renaissance woman of sorts. And she's definitely been there and done that and bought a lot of t-shirts. This is a woman who has come through many transitions, many incarnations, as they say. And I can't wait for you to meet her. You'll meet her in about 5 minutes. Her name is Shakeinah Ninah. And I hope I'm saying her name right, because I might say it wrong. I probably am, because anybody that knows me knows I'm horrible with names. Faces, I'm great with. Names, not so much. But hopefully she forgives me for that. And she's going to come on and tell us about herself. So in about 5 minutes or so. But no, I agree. Getting back to the first topic, I actually agree with Jen Derry. I think that we are stuck. But I think a lot of that stuckness that we're feeling is we just never addressed it in the first place. We have never had a good old-fashioned sit down and said, here's what I don't understand about not you, but your culture. Here's what I don't get. And a lot of what I think we don't understand is that a lot of what we don't understand is based, like I said, fear and stereotypical stuff. But also a lot of what we don't get is based on preferences, like, just individual things, because it's the same thing with, and this is another topic that I may address in another show. I think it's the same thing with dating preferences when it comes to race, because we often I've seen some of us, we get very offended when we're like, oh, well, you're only into fill in the blank, or whatever, or why that, or why this, or why that. And we go, and then we start falling back into the stereotypes of, well, those people are this way and those people are that way. So I think that a lot of it is based on fear, in my opinion. But we do need to have a good old-fashioned sit down and talk about it. That's just me. That's just my personal opinion. You can agree with me. You can disagree with me. It doesn't matter. We're all adults. That's what adults do. But I'm grateful that you guys are having, you're willing to have this conversation with me. So that's awesome. Okay. So, and don't worry, I will be doing intuitive insights. I am going to do that. I'm going to do that after my interview with Shakeinah. So after her interview, we'll be doing intuitive insights. So if you want, you can actually, there we go. You can actually get your questions ready now if you'd like. So you're more than welcome to ask them now. And then as we are talking and yabbing and rapping, I'll get into it because I plan to do that the last maybe 20 minutes of the show. So don't worry, you'll definitely get your questions answered. So you have questions, if you have comments, if you have suggestions, if you just want to tell me to shut up, you can. I don't mind. I'm not going to shut up, but you're more than welcome to do that if you like. So, and to get back to the first topic, Dave Rogers says, to be honest, it depends on who you talk to, whether or not it's the progress or the digress. That's very true too, because if you talk to elders, if you talk to people who are older and who have seen like the 60s and things like that and lived through the civil rights movement, they may say that we're repeating what they went through. But then to others, it may be, well, no, this is, we're actually progressing because we now have the woke movement. People are becoming more aware. And to me, that's what woke means. To me, woke means you're just being more aware of what's going on. You're knowing what's up. It doesn't mean that you are more enlightened. It doesn't mean that you're better. It means, well, I just know what's going down and I want to know more, which I think is great. I think it's good that we're learning more about our history. We're learning more about our culture, regardless of what color we are. I think that's fantastic. But I also think that you should not use your culture or your history as a means to bash people over the head with it, because I've seen people do that, and you shouldn't do that, regardless of what color you are. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to invite my guest into, hold on for just 1 second. I want to invite my guest into the room. Give me just 1 minute. This is new to me, y'all, so like bear with me. Okay. 1 second. No, I don't want it. Okay, there we go. Let's see. All right. Okay, and here we go. The founder of Get You Some Free herself, honey. My girl, my colleague, Miss Shakeinah Ninah Davis. Hello.
Leo, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I just can't see you, darling.
Hey, my love. Do you need to see me?
I'd like to, if that's okay. I want the public to see you too.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out. I use Zoom, but usually I'm running a class or something, so I'm on the other side like you. So
I think you have to do it where you unmute your camera, and then we can see.
Okay. Give me 1 moment, and
you're good. Take your time.
You should be able to see me. Hi, everyone. I will say hello to everyone.
Okay. This is new to me, so I'm learning just like you. It's okay. Because actually, I'm watching myself via the Facebook platform, but I'm on Zoom, so it's very interesting for me. This is new.
You look good. It's not giving me an option to show my face. I actually put on blush tonight, Leo, just so you know. So
okay, hold on.
If I can't do video, I'm just telling you all I look cute tonight, and I did it for Leo.
Okay.
So there you go.
Okay, hold on for just 1 second. So it doesn't have the little camera?
It doesn't.
Oh.
I'm surprised.
Are you on Zoom on your phone or on your computer?
On my laptop.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's okay, darling. The show must go on.
Yes, right. So now when we say get you some free, when that word pops up, what does that mean?
Get you some free. Okay, so when I first started to pursue my purpose, I had a business called Surviving Departure. And I was able to assist women who were in and coming out of and going into domestic violence shelters in order to heal from those relationships and move forward with their lives. However, we grow and we learn more. And the universe was so kind to let me know that there was a time for me to do surviving departure, which is the departure of your old mindset of being, unworthy enough to be loved in a relationship without violence. And after doing that and being a court advocate and picking women up on the side of the road who were bleeding, women that I'm taking to the hospital losing their babies because their exes have kicked, them in their abdomens to give them an abortion, just doing all of that. It got to the point where I realized that there was something deeply wrong with the system, and that I had survived the departure of those relationships. And I was moving into something else. What else as women did we need? Once we're out, once we've survived the departure of that, then what? And I had a dream, and Get You Some Free came to me. And I was thinking, get you some free. That's a little ghetto. That's a little like, what are we doing here? And the person's like, don't call what I gave to you ghetto. Don't call what I gave. This is for you. And this is for them. And what they're calling for. Oh no, did I go away? Oh, there I am.
No, you're good.
What they were calling for, what women all over the world were calling for, was the same thing that I was calling out for, which was freedom. But we needed a vehicle to get to that. And for me, that vehicle, hey, boo.
I swear. There we go. Everybody and their mother's calling me, and I hate that. All right.
Everybody wants to talk to Leo.
I swear, but that's normally how it is. But anyway.
And so I was trying to figure out how to incorporate this in my business, and it just became the business. Get You Some Free through authentic self-love every day, in every way, by any means necessary. And the by any means necessary doesn't mean you go and you take a chair and bust out some windows. It really means by any means necessary in regards to healing yourself, standing up for yourself. And I was trying to figure out what was that one thing women wanted so that they could get them some free. Get you some free, honey. How do you do that?
I love that, actually. And I'm pretty sure the audience does too. And they all say hi.
Hey, loves. I don't have my glasses on, so it's hard for me to see because I was trying to be cute with my little mascara on.
Well, I'm going to have you back, so don't worry. You can come back and you'll look even more beautiful and fabulous.
Okay, I'll make sure I'm popping.
So I'm definitely going to have you back. So you currently reside in what I call Ocean's Mirror and in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes.
And I want to know.
What did you call it, Leo? Say it again, Leo. Please say it again.
I call it Ocean's Mirror. Because you look at it, it looks one way on the outside, and then you get inside of it, it's completely different.
It's
and that can be good or bad depending on how you look at it. Whereas I call where I live now the city of choices. But anywho, so Shakeinah, and I hope I'm pronouncing, or is it Shania?
You are. It's Shekinah, like Shekinah glory.
Okay. That's what I thought. I just wasn't sure. Thank you, LaShawn Pace. Yes.
Amen. Shekinah's in the building.
Yes. So Shakeinah Ninah Davis.
Nina.
So my question to you is, who is she? If you could define yourself, what would you say?
Who is Shakeinah? She's an enigma. Even to me sometimes. Sometimes it's like, girl, really? Is that what we're doing today? Oh, telephone.
1 second.
While you're doing that.
Hold on. May I call you back in like 2 minutes? No, I'm actually in the middle of a show. So okay. There we go.
They love to.
All right. Technical difficulties, people, but we're gonna roll with it. Everything's in retrograde, so it's okay.
Exactly.
All right. Go ahead. Keep going.
So Shakeinah. Shakeinah is this lovely enigma of a person. I'm a Pisces sun. I am a Scorpio moon. I am an Aquarius rising. So that makes me this amazing weirdo. Okay. This really deep, spiritual, intense weirdo. And my Mercury is in Pisces. So people call me Junior Jesus because, or the purpose pastor, because I move with purpose. Shekinah moves with purpose. Shekinah, I want to make sure that I say this the right way for your audience. I'm purposed as F, okay? Everything I do is purposed. And
you can curse on here, by the way. You good.
I'm purposed as fuck, okay? So, and I call it effervescent language. So, because sometimes I can bless you with my fuck yous, okay? It's not necessarily a curse.
Hey, and sometimes the fuck you is what we need. Let's be real.
I teach my children that you can enjoy the consequences of your choices, or you can suffer the consequences of your choices. And where the consequences of your choices come from is purpose, is misunderstanding the purpose of what you're doing or understanding it. So I used to be a cop, and one day I was getting dressed for work. I had just gotten cable, DVR had just come out, so I thought it was fancy. And I was flipping the channels to find something, and it landed on Creflo Dollar. And I was thinking, oh, let me change the channel. But he said something that actually changed my life, and which opened me up to being able to listen to other people and to get what I need, plant that, get what I need, and plant the rest. And so he quoted Miles Monroe, and he said, if you don't understand the purpose of a thing, abuse is inevitable. And I thought, wait a minute, whoa. So if you don't understand the purpose of a thing, and I immediately went to a situation where a woman said, all of your kids are under the age of 3, but they know how to sit down on the couch, sit down at the table. How do you teach them that? And I said, well, I really teach them. We don't eat on the couch. We don't draw on it. They know the purpose of the couch is for sitting and being comfortable. And I started to live more purposefully after that. What is the purpose of this situation? What is the purpose of me meeting this person? What is the lesson? And I learned where I was misunderstanding a person's placement in my life, my placement in theirs, what the purpose of our expectations were in regards to one another. And I began to grow exponentially once I understood that there is a purpose to everything. We eat because our bodies need the food, but if we overstuff ourselves or if we're underfed, we're not living up to the purpose of feeding our bodies, so everything has a purpose. That's who I am.
Okay, somebody's speaking knowledge tonight. I wasn't expecting this, but go ahead.
Yes. Yes. So Shakeinah knows who she is, which is unconditional love. She knows what she is, which is the universe embodied. And she knows how she serves: in love, for love, by love, through love, with love. And she knows how she likes to be served the same way. So when I walk through the world, I do my best to stay present. It doesn't happen all the time, but when I veer off and I'm brought back to present, I'm always brought back with the gift inside the lesson. So that's who I am.
I love that. That was great. Okay, so all right, I'm kind of no, I'm not at a loss for words. That ain't never me. But so what would you say? Because you mentioned, now I want to go into two things. You mentioned pastoring, and you mentioned just like how you talked about yourself. So my first question is, what is when it comes to people who don't know you, or even people who do know you, what's the biggest misconception about you think?
No one knows me. It's not me being fancy, or no one could ever know me. I'm a Pisces sun and Mercury in Pisces, so I mirror. Pisces are the mirrors. We're the ocean. Whenever you look into the water, you're going to see yourself. You're not going to see anyone different. And we reflect back to people. And so they assume that we're flaky, or we go with the flow, meaning we change for people. We're not changing for people. We're showing you who you really are. And so it's kind of hard to get to know us. But the essence of who I am, I think people would say, my aura really speaks for me. I don't have to say anything. My aura speaks to me. People walk up to me and assume I'm a leader. No matter how much I try to hide, my North Node is in Leo, so I cannot hide. My purpose in this lifetime is to shine my light. So even when I try to hide, people automatically assume I'm in a leadership role. People will come up to me and ask me for directions or this or that. And I'm like, I don't work here. I'm not even wearing the uniform. You know, they just assume that I'm capable. And I am. But they just assume that I'm capable. And that's how I like to roll.
I love that. See, I love how the one thing I'm noticing about you is that you're very self-assured. And
I am.
And I can see how people would read that as, oh, she thinks she's all of that. She thinks she's fancy. And I don't get that. I think it's just more of you, just like you said, you know who you are. But
I used to get that all the time. Sometimes, every once in a while, I do, oh, you're stuck up. And as soon as I hear the you're stuck up, what a person is telling me is that according to their perception, instead of them trying to get to know me, they're pushing an archetype onto who I am. And I just choose not to accept
who you think you are and not who you are.
Yes. Exactly.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So you mentioned Creflo Dollar, you mentioned Miles Monroe. And my question to you is, if you were, in a way, you are kind of a minister, but I think it's just a different kind of ministering. But if you were a minister of that caliber, where do you think you would fall? Do you think you would be in the Creflo Dollars of the world, or do you think you'd be very much like, look, we're just gonna kick off our shoes and talk about our feelings and love the Lord?
So my mom is a pastor, and I am a total pew baby, born and raised in the church. Apostolic, Pentecostal, Church of God in Christ, Kojak, YPWW child, you know. If you name a denomination, we've tested the waters. And so I'm
Seventh-day Adventist?
Very briefly. And that was because everything happened on Saturday in Chicago. Everything happened on Saturday in Chicago. So that was like, nah, we're just gonna go on back to Sundays. But yeah, it's so many, and I'm interested in religions. My natal placements scream, if you wanted to start a cult, you really could start a cult. And so I think I would be the type. I've prophesied since I was a baby. Since I was 3, I've had dreams, very prophetic dreams, visions. I astral travel, which I thought everybody did. So I'm telling people like, yeah, I went to so-and-so's house last night and they had this and that. And they're like, how did you know we had oxtails and peas and rice and gravy? And I'm like, oh, you guys didn't see, because I was asleep. Okay. So I think I would be a barefoot preaching pastor of authenticity.
Okay. All right. Wow. Okay. So you heard that prophetess Shakeinah will be at the Hold My Mule While We Shout with the olive oil on your forehead church. And she'll be also singing the A&B selection.
Yes.
And taking collection for the building fund. And I use that term loosely.
Building fund.
That's really for the hippie commune that she plans to build called Shekinah Town.
My kids call me a hippie.
So, wow. So that's really cool. So now, how'd you go from a PK kid, a straight up PK kid like you are, like you were, to, well, I shouldn't say like you were, because apparently those elements are still there.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay.
I'm still a PK kid.
Okay. So it sounds like to me, like, how'd you go from a PK kid to a woman who, carries crystals in her purse and, has...
we carry crystals in our bras. What you talking about? Keep it real.
Right. Well, crystals in your bra, hot sauce in your bag. You know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, all those things. So how'd you go from that transition, that beginning, to this transition?
So first of all, I want to say, hi, Mom. I love you. Thanks for listening. And she's probably going to have a talk with me later. But I believe that's who I always was. That's who I always was. I was always exploring different religions, different cultures. I'm such a natural psychologist and philosopher. And I love exploring thought forms and energy. And I've always traveled astrally, so I know that our ancestors are on the other side. They're really not on the other side. There really is no veil, y'all. But until you really realize it, then there's a veil. And I've always wanted to explore plant medicines and things like that as a child. I brought home a Wiccan book from the library, and my mother darn near beat the skin off my body because she saw the pentagram and she thought, oh my God, my child is doing witchcraft, Jesus. But that just intrigued me more about what was hidden. And once I learned what the word
occult, I'm hearing is damn the whooping, honey, damn the spanking. I still want to learn more about this. Yeah.
See, my mom, it was funny because my mom was more contemporary than previous generations. She was listening to the Clark sisters, and the Clark sisters back in the day, they were considered contemporary. They almost got kicked out of the church. And so my mom was the same way.
They were too worldly. That's true.
They were too worldly, and we couldn't be worldly. But my mother was sneaking by us cards. We weren't supposed to play cards and have games with dice and, very religious. And my mom, she was a rebel. She kind of went against the grain, and she didn't realize that I was the same way. So she and I kind of butted heads a little bit about things. Right. Yeah. We still do. Well, we don't bump heads. It's at the point, not that we agree to disagree, but we allow one another, to enjoy the process of our journeys, and so I know it wasn't a surprise to her at all. They knew little Nene was the weirdo of the family. If it was weird, she was on it. And, I was always had my head in a research book or a medical dictionary, some kind of dictionary, etymology, the concordance. And so at some point, as I was exploring my spiritual journey, I explored agnosticism and atheism. And that freaked my family out, poor little family, poor little tinks. But my grandmother, I think if my grandmother had rejected me, I think everybody else would have. But my grandmother taught me how to love and how not to love. And she talked to me that I don't think you're a devil worshiper or you're going to eat any babies or anything like that. But I hope that you know who you are. You're always going to be a prophetess. I said, I know that. I can't deny it. Whatever term you want to give it, the gift is there. But I want to explore something outside of an angry God. And eventually it led me back to what I consider myself and my spirituality. And my spirituality for me comes from a place of authenticity, of being a human being on this planet, here to share this experience with other human beings.
Wow. I love how you're I can tell well, I won't say you're holding back, but if you could, honey, you would preach a good old.
Listen, I will get this organ and this tambourine out. Yeah.
But I want to ask you within the last 10 minutes of the show. So I'm going to go back to what I asked in the beginning of the show. Was my question of the day, because I really want to hear your thoughts on this, because you have such a universal appeal and such a universal, even the way you talk, you speak very universally. You don't speak very much for yourself. What I hear is that you're speaking for the world, which I think is a fantastic thing. But what I'd like to know is if you could resolve things regarding race relations, what would be the first thing that you would do? Like, if you had that kind of power, what would you do first?
I'm going to tell you the truth, Leo. I wouldn't. But I am going to tell you why I would not. Okay, because
and why?
This is my belief. Okay, now the people are going to be like, okay, she really is weird. I believe that we live in different dimensions on this one little planet. Okay, slavery has never ended, and it never will, in a sense. Capitalism will never end, in a sense, but there are also pockets of this utopianism that really is going on. And the reason why I say that is you can go to different countries and see that they're still doing things that we read about in history books. And we know that it will not serve their country well you know. And then there are places where we go that are more modern in a third world than what we would consider in a first world. And I'm doing those in quotation marks where I am, because I really don't believe in first world, third world. But there are places in Africa that are so much more ahead of us and advanced, you know, than we are. Not Wakanda, y'all, but close, okay? And they have a better respect for women and women's place in the world, you know, what we're here to do. Not only are they advanced technologically, but also spiritually, emotionally, you know, mentally, culturally. You know, cultures are not supposed to be a monopoly. Cultures grow, we borrow from each other. All cultures play the drums. We just play them differently.
Yes, they do.
That's all. All cultures sing, all cultures dance. Most cultures braid hair. It's not something that's exclusive to one culture. We share and trade things. This is how we survived. But at some point, someone said, no, this is ours. It's all ours. You cannot go to any place in the world and not pick fruit and know it's fruit. This is fruit. It grows out of the soil. There are no illegal aliens. We were all born here. But when we dimension hop, when we travel, when we get on a plane and we go somewhere and we go, oh my God, I can't believe they treat the women like that in this country, or the kids like that. You've taken a trip outside of your normal realm of reality. And you're being awakened to what could be, or what doesn't work for you. I don't want to say what shouldn't be, but what wouldn't work for you, your culture, or your home, you know, or your life. And so everybody is going through this process. And the sad part about it is we don't allow people to go through their processes. We will tell a 25-year-old, you should know better than that. But they've only been on the planet 25 years and away from their parents for a very short time. They do not have the experience behind them, the hindsight, nor the foresight to help them navigate that. And so we'll leave them to figure it out on their own and call them stupid for coming up with the best solution that they can. And so we either stop someone's process, we slow it down, or we try to push them forward. Kick the kid out at 18. 18? Yesterday he was 17 and had to ask to go to the restroom. Today he can vote, kill somebody, and smoke cigarettes. And now marijuana.
Okay, see, and actually, you know what? When you say it in that connotation, that actually makes perfect sense, because I think that's even true for people who are in our age groups, because I think maybe that's why for some of us, who, if you're 35 and up and you're watching this, you know what I'm talking about. There are some of us who are 35 plus, but we still don't know what we want to do. We still don't know who we are, because we were thrust out at 18 or 21 or 25 and told, well, now you need to grow up. But what is that? What is growing up? Growing up to us could be, well, I'm gonna still go out here and party and do what I did at 22 because that's all I knew. You know what I mean? I don't know. See, you're making me think. This is good. I don't know how to. Well, no, it makes so much sense, because even the way, okay, I'm getting a little personal, but even the way I'm like approaching dating, I'm kind of like, okay, I got a knife in my back pocket. I'm gonna cut your throat if you say one thing wrong. But it's like, but what you said makes perfect sense, because if you don't know, you don't know. And it's okay to say, I don't know, or I know, but this is what I know. This is what works.
Yes. You know, and so we reproduce what we see. That's what we constantly reproduce until we realize that there's a different choice we can make. So growing up is discovering the power of choice. And sometimes you don't discover that until you're 80. There are 80-year-olds that'll realize, wait a minute, everybody's dead, you know, but I'm still here. I've always wanted to learn another language. I've always wanted to travel. And so you'll see these badass grannies, badass granddads, all of a sudden.
Yeah, I never looked at it like that, but that makes a lot of sense. Like, that's what I'm saying. You give me some tonight, honey, because I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. Like, it's true, like how you see people who are 50 and 40 and they're just living their best life because they realize, like, wait a minute, I'm 40 years old. I have nothing to prove. I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to fall in love. And they go out and do it.
And they do it, and they're so happy, and they don't even waste. At some point, they stop wasting time saying, I wish I'd done this when I was younger, because they realize you couldn't have, honey. You just couldn't have. You wouldn't have been able to, because
you weren't there. You weren't now there. That you're in that place, you can do that because you now have freedom. Getting back to get you some free.
Get you some free.
So this is good.
To come full circle with the race thing, the reason why I wouldn't is because it allows people to go through their process of what that means to them. Right now, where I am, I don't believe in race. I've never believed in race. We're all one people. We don't have zebra babies. We don't have platypus babies. We have human babies, no matter who we mate with, because we're all human. We can share livers, hearts, corneas. Nothing's really different except the outside appearance. And so when someone calls themselves trying to race bait me, or you're a Black woman, and so it just lets me know where they are, what dimension they're living in, that they feel like that's the only way they can control me or make me feel subservient. And in my mind, it's cute, honey. I'm still doing what I'm doing. Nothing's going to stop me because I don't flow in that frequency. I don't deal with racism anymore like that. I'm not saying that it doesn't crop up or creep up. However, I can choose to engage.
And you're not, and also what I'm hearing you say is, not to interrupt you, but also what I'm hearing you say is you're not saying that it doesn't exist. But what you're saying is you've progressed. I don't want to say you've grown, but maybe you've progressed to a different mindset, a different way of thinking.
Yes, okay. I've chosen to look past something that's really surface. I've chosen to look past the meaning of a word that you thought you could use against me to make me step outside of my peace and into your anger. Oh, honey, I refuse. It's just a word. And it depends on the meaning that I give to that word, because you can use a person's name as a curse. But because I know the meaning of my name, I know the power behind my name is ancient. Okay. And so am I. I just came to hang out with y'all and party.
Okay. So, well,
I don't have to deal with the heaviness of what race is, but I respect other people's journeys through that, because that's the school that you want to learn through.
That's okay. And with that being said, wow, before we conclude, I just have to ask you, for those that would like to know, how can people get in contact with you? Because obviously you're doing some great work. And do you have any events coming up?
So I always have events. I do new moon and full moon sessions where it's always intuitively led, and it's to the energy of the moon, whatever sign the moon is in. So I have a website. It's getyouSomeFree.life, GETHCU. Because I'm from Chicago. Get you some free. That's Chi-Town right there, baby. Inglewood. So I like to do my shout out. But not only can you reach me on getyouSomeFree.life, I am on Facebook, and I do have two groups. I have the Get You Some Free group for women, and it's a closed group. It's a general group. But I also have a class that I love to teach, because if I were to really give myself a title or a label, I am a self-loveologist. And what the heck is a self-loveologist? I'm certified by my choices and actions. How I live my life, you'll know that I love myself. And so I teach a class called Self-Loveology 101, purposed as fuck. And it's 3 sessions. It's Self-Loveology 101. 102 is Sun and Shadow, where we deal with your sun and shadow. And then 103 is when you become your own self-loveologist, because this title isn't exclusive to me. Everybody can be a self-loveologist, or whatever you want to call yourself. And it's a class right now. It's strictly for women, or those who identify with the feminine aspect in that manner. I'm a unicorn. I love unicorns. However, it's respecting that part of the feminine, the divine feminine, that needs to be healed on this plane. So healing those things so that we can embrace it. And it's my favorite class to teach. We go in deep. I don't give you a whole bunch of worksheets to fill out. We go according to your natal chart. So that is tailored specifically for you, because we're not all the same. We're all here to enjoy one another's individuality together. So that's what I do. You can find me on Facebook. Ask Leo about me if you did not get the link, but I'm here for my beautiful sisters. I got you too, brothers. Something is coming for you too. When spirit releases me to do that, I got you too. But thank you so much, Leo. This is so fun.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much for being a part of it. And once again, her website is getyousomefree.life. I love it that this dot life.
Leo, I almost forgot. I'm so sorry. I do tarot readings, oracle cards. I do natal chart readings, and I have several different types of readings available. So I can't forget that part. I do the readings. But
well, of course. I mean, and I'm definitely going to put that in here as well. So you heard it here first. She does tarot readings. She does natal charts. She does everything, honey. She's like a Jamaican. She got 10 jobs.
Yes, I do.
She does all kinds of things, honey. She is a self-loveologist. She is just wanting you to get you, as she said, get you some free. And Miss Shekinah, thank you so much for being on the show. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
I hope that my audience enjoyed it. And for those of you who enjoyed it, let me know in the comments. Share the video if you'd like to, please, because I'd love for you guys to share this. And until next time, honey, thank you so much. Thank you, Miss Shekinah.
Thank you, Leo. Have a beautiful night, everyone.
You too. Thank you.
Peace.
Bye-bye. All right. Okay, so that was awesome. She was a great interview. So now it is time for Intuitive Insights. That's where you get to ask me all your intuitive questions, and I hopefully can give you some answers. And that's going to be for the next 20 minutes or so. So if you have questions, if you have concerns, it could be about your love life, your man, whatever. You are more than welcome to put them in the comments below, and I will try to get to all of them as best I can. Okay. All right. And I hope you guys are enjoying the show so far, despite the technical difficulties, but it happens. It's a thing called life. It's okay. So let's see here. All right. But wasn't she great? She was awesome. I really enjoyed that. And a lot of what she said, I have to say, it made a lot of sense. And if you want to, I'm going to pin her website down in the comments so you guys can actually go to it. So her website is, okay. I love the fact that it gets you some free. I love that. I think that's adorable. Oops. There we go. There you go. And that way you guys can go and look at her stuff. Yes, honey. So, so go ahead and ask me whatever you want to ask. It doesn't matter to me. And thank you, Shakeinah. Thank you so much for being here. I hope I pronounced the name correctly because, like I said, I'm bad with names. But I thank you so much. All right. So yes, go ahead and ask away. And let me just say, like, I am, I'll be honest, I'm not 100% accurate. I'm 100% human, first and foremost. Yeah, I'm just me. So you're more than welcome. Thank you, Shekinah. Thank you for allowing me to interview you. It was awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And like I said, I'm learning how to work with this new platform, but I like it though. I like this because I can kind of see you, but then also I can kind of watch myself. It's interesting. So yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you for sharing, for what's the word I'm looking for? For all of that, for just even watching, because I know you don't have to. You don't have to watch the show with me, but you're doing so, and that makes me feel fantastic. So thank you so much. So anybody have any questions? I don't know if I can read the comments. Hold on for just 1 second. I may be able to. Yeah, I may be able to. So what I'm going to do, there we go. I'm going to mute it so I can see the comments in real time on my end. Okay. Thank you, Christopher. He says I look like my name should be Byron. Thank you. That's because I'm growing my beard out. That's why. I'm actually going to go and get this done this weekend because I need to. My goodness, I can't stand it. But anyway, yes. So you are more than welcome to ask anything you like. It can be about your love life. It can be about your career, anything that you feel you want to know. And I'll definitely try to give my best input. But I will say, I will say this: I am 100% human, not 100% accurate, and I don't want to be. So, but that was funny. Hello, everybody. Hi. Let me say hi. I don't want people to think that I'm not, saying hello to people. But yes, but you're more than welcome to ask anything you like. And we've got about a good, 18 minutes left. So, because like I said, I'm going to do this for the last 20 minutes of the show, and then we will be done. And I'll be back not this following week, but the next week. I'll be back with the next guest. And if you would like to be a guest on the show, if you want to be a guest, you can email me. Email me at psychicleo28@yahoo.com. That's psychicleo28@yahoo.com, and put lap of luxury in the subject. And I will definitely try my best to get you on to interview you if you are and you don't necessarily have to be an intuitive. You could be just a regular Joe who has a message of, who has something to say. You could be a comedian. It doesn't matter. You can be anybody that, you would be an asset to, people would love. So you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to be a guest on the show, and I would love to have you. So, my goodness. All right. So, and I don't know if you guys can hear it, but there's like kids going up and down the hallway. But I'm happy about that because I love children. So I'm happy that they're like running around and doing their thing, because that means when Halloween gets here, I'll have candy to give out the trick-or-treaters. I have to admit, I was kind of afraid of that because I was like, oh God, I want the trick-or-treaters to come so I can get them some candy and stuff. Okay, but with that being said, let me go into my first question. Hold on for just 1 second, y'all. Okay. All right. Okay. So Day wants to know, is she still living up to her full purpose? That's a great question. You are, but you doubt yourself too much. You're definitely living up to your full purpose. Yes. But what I get around you is that you doubt yourself a little too much, and you really shouldn't. And you also have to give yourself time. I think what I pick up around you is that you're very much a perfectionist. You kind of want things not like perfect, but I think when it comes to yourself, you're like, well, I should be here and here and here. But what I get around you is that you're definitely living up to it, but you just need to be a little less hard on yourself and allow things to just grow and go within their own time frame, and you'll be fine. So yes, you are living up to your full purpose, to answer your question. Let's see. All right. Good evening, Miss Phyllis. Good evening, Tasha. I love your name, Tasha Ariel. I love your name. It's beautiful. Let's see. I'm just going through all the comments because I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Okay. All right. I think we're good. All right. Hey, Christopher. Hi. My goodness. Love him. I think he's so adorable. Him and Mr. Teddy. They're so cute. But yes, to answer your question, yes, you are. You're definitely living up to your full purpose. More than you think. If you would like to get a reading with me, then that reminds me. If you guys would like to get a reading with me or a coaching session with me, you're more than welcome to do that. You can log on to my website, which is psychicleo.com. That's psychicleo.com. And I offer life coaching. I offer one-on-one. I can do things like this, like via Skype kind of platform, but I also offer them one-on-one, via phone, email, and you can also, if you want a reading, if you want a tarot reading, if you want an intuitive reading, if you want a mediumship reading, you may hit me up on my website and I will hook you up. So you're more than welcome to do that. Let's see. Yeah, and I'm like reading all the comments. So Yeah, that's why I keep like looking up and down, because I'm trying to read every comment I have. Let's see. Okay, I think we're okay. All right. So does anybody have any other questions? Any other questions, any concerns? Okay, and I'm also going to put my website information in here, so that way you guys can go to it if you like. Hi, yes, you can go to it if you like, and like I said, you're more than welcome to ask questions. And by the way, Christopher, you're doing really well with school. I'm gonna say this to you. I know you didn't ask this. I feel like your next like 4 months of school, 2 to 4 months of school, they're going to be like this, up and down. But I do see it actually going quite well for you. Keep going, like keep doing it. But just don't like give yourself a break when you need to, but don't give into the pressure. Because I feel like you put a lot of pressure on yourself to not be perfect, but I think with school, you really want to do your thing. So, yeah. So, but keep going though. You're doing really well in school. Very well. Keep going. Keep doing your thing. But just what I keep picking up around you is don't get yourself so stressed, because it's not. It's worth it, but it's not. If that makes any sense. So that's what I was getting. But yeah, you're gonna be fine. I think school for you is gonna be a breeze, except for like the last 2 semesters of the last, because I get the number 2 around you. But I feel that school's gonna be actually really easy. Let's see. So I hope that makes sense. Oh, and you want to know, should you move? You should, but not right now, is what I'm getting. Not right now. You should move, but just not right now, because what I get around you is that if you were to move now, I kind of get things would be hectic. But I would say once you are done with school, or once school is near completion, then you may want to move. Yes. Because I feel like, okay, because I get 2019, 2020, somewhere in there. So I think you definitely should move, because what I'm getting around you is that you really are not, you're not unhappy where you are, but you're not growing either, if that makes any sense. And what I also get around you is that you want to live, I don't know if you want to live on the beach or near because I'm seeing water around you. I know you live in Florida, but for some reason I get water around you a lot. And I feel like this is definitely, and it may be because also this move is definitely about not just growth from a educational standpoint, but I would say from an emotional standpoint too, because I kind of get that even with your relationship, you guys are really wanting to progress, not just together, but even apart. And it's like, we can't really progress the way we like to. Okay, well, that explains the water then. Because I'm seeing like, I want to say if you do, I get like North Carolina, Virginia, like upwards. Yeah. And I feel like you miss, I don't know if it makes any sense, but I feel like you miss 4 seasons. You miss the changes in the weather. Though you may not always like it, you miss that, if that makes any sense. Yeah, so for some reason I get that around you. Yeah, a great deal. But yeah, I do see you moving. So I would say 2020, end of 2019, beginning of 2020. That's when you'll move. And I'm going to say this too. If you move to like a North Carolina area, I see you working for a corporation or like working for a bank. Something like that. Yeah. I feel like you miss the seasons. Like, I know you don't miss wintertime, but I feel like you miss the seasonal changes, like spring. You miss fall being fall. Things like that. Yeah. Yeah, but I definitely see you working for like a corporation. Something, because I keep seeing you working for like a bank or something high, like a business sort of situation. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Christopher, for your question. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them below. If you want to get a reading from me or live one-on-one reading, leave them below. Or if you want to get a live reading, go to my website, which is psychicleo.com. That's psychicleo.com, and you can get a one-on-one reading from me. That's not a problem. If you have a question now, go ahead and type it down below. Type it down below, and I will give you a free sample reading. So you're more than welcome to get your free sample reading right now. Yes, I'm talking to you, Miss Copeland. If you want your reading now, get it now. Go ahead and get it now. If you have a question, no matter what it is, it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be big or small. Nothing's too personal. You're more than welcome to ask with the remaining minutes that we have left. Yeah, I swear I do need to. I'm sorry. I'm looking at myself. I'm like, God, I need to shave. But anyway, it is what it is. I don't mind looking a little hairy. It's actually kind of nice. What do I see in your future? So this is for Ms. Copeland. And believe it or not, I see a lot of growth. I really do. I get job growth. I get money. I feel like money is either an issue or I feel like you just want to be financially more secure. Because what I get around you is this right now. It's like this. You're trying to balance the scales. And I would also say, set up proper boundaries with family and so-called friends. You really need to do that. I see you kind of cutting people out of your life, and you're probably going to do that more towards the end of the year. But I do see you doing it, and I think you need to do it, and it's important for you. I don't necessarily pick up a move around you, but I do pick up travel. I feel like you want to travel. You want to get out of where you live a little bit because you need to change your scenery. You would feel a lot better. And I'm also seeing you, I don't know if you want to do it now, but I'm seeing maybe later on, I'm seeing you wanting to take better care of yourself on the health tip, because I see you wanting to, I don't want to say lose weight. Well, no, I do see you losing weight, but I see you more so saying, I want to lose weight. I don't want to be skinny, but I want to be in the middle. Like I want to be slim thick, if that makes any sense. So I'm seeing that, like, you're like, I don't want to lose my thighs and I want to look cute, but I don't want to look too emaciated. So I'm seeing you doing that. I'm seeing you change your diet. That's really where it starts, is you changing your diet and you incorporating more fruit, more veggies, more water. Please, more water. That will help you so much. That'll help you a lot, especially with your sleeping patterns, because I feel like your sleeping patterns are very much off sometimes. I don't know if you work at night or what you do, but yeah, you definitely need to do that. Let's see. What else? And I would say that when your finances get better, what I would recommend you do is just whatever money you have, even if it's like 10%, put it away, save it. Don't spend your money on frivolous stuff, and you'll be fine. And learn to, and I keep seeing this, learn to say no a lot more. You will feel a lot better, because what I get around you is that I think people kind of, they depend on you, and that is wearing you down a little bit. It causes you to be a little depressed. So yeah, that's what I get around you a little bit. That's just me. But if that makes any sense, let me know below in the comments, because I am reading them as I'm watching it. So I'm reading everything you guys are asking me. So, and hello to everybody who's watching. So thank you so much for even tuning in, because you certainly don't have to. You don't have to be here. You could be out here, you know what I mean? You could be out here doing your thing, getting ready for the weekend. Speaking of the weekend, what do we have for weekend plans? So, I mean, I plan my best. This is my plan. My plan is to actually go to the beach this weekend. If I don't do it this weekend, I'm going to do it next weekend. I really want to do something with the beach, because I haven't been to a beach here in Texas yet. And something in me is just like, you need to go to the beach. So I'm going to give myself a gift and I'm going to go. So that'll be my weekend plan, hopefully. If not, I'm going to go get my hair done. So far, the move is good. I've been here, like I said, for 90 days. And so far, it's been good. There have been some ups and downs, but that's part of life. You know, so, but other than that, it's been fantastic. I can't complain too much. I'm learning a lot, and that's a good thing. Learning is a part of transition as well, and change, and learning who people are, learning, you know, who not to invest in, learning what you should have given up a long time ago, things like that. I'm learning. So it's so far so good. Knock on wood. Hi, Victoria. You know, but I'm learning. So yes, I did. I got to meet Miss Robertson. She's really sweet, really down to earth. Just cool people. I mean, I had to admit, I fangirl for like 2 minutes. And then I was like, oh, she regular people. So cool woman. And actually, if I can, I would love to interview her for this particular show. I may actually do that if I can. If I can get in contact with her people, I would love to interview her. Hello, Miss Chambers. Hi, Victoria. Okay, let's see. It says, hold on, because I don't want to miss this question. It says, hi, Leo. My name is Shakeinah. I hope I'm saying your name correct. And she wants to know, she says she doesn't have a Facebook, but she wants to know, what do I see in her future? I see a lot of familiar conflict, but I also see resolution and healing around you right now. I feel like, and this is for Shakeinah, I feel like you're going through something with family or people that you're close to. And in a way, it's actually, it may not feel good, but it actually is a good thing, because you kind of need to let people know who you are. And you need to be more assertive and a little bit more aggressive and a lot less passive when it comes to people that you love and people that you care about. And just because people tell you that they love you, they don't mean that they're really there for you. You know what I'm saying? Actions speak louder than words. Trust and believe. Because your actions can say everything. But I get a lot of that. And I also get a move around you too, but not a move where you want to move like to a different state but I get like a different part of town, like a different place of residence, something with more space, because I'm seeing an apartment with more, it's wider, things like that. It's wider, it's bigger than where you're living now, and it's good for you. It's good for your sanity, because you need to get away from the people that are not good for you or not healthy for you anymore. Let's see what else. I feel like with your personal life, you're kind of going through some back and forth stuff. I don't know who this person is, but whomever they are, they need to learn how to communicate more openly and to be more emotionally present. And I kind of get it that that's an issue for you that you tend to deal with. You deal with people who they'll say one thing, but then they do the complete opposite. And you're at a point now where that really weighs you down. That's really getting you tired in more ways than one. So that's what I get around you regarding your future. But I feel like in order for your transition to take shape, you have to be the one to say not only no, but fuck no and hell no. And mean it, because you tend to do that, but then you'll go back right around and say, well, people that are not good for you. So I hope that helped. And that was for Shakeinah. And if it made sense, let me know in the comments. If it didn't, let me know. Okay. Hi, Miss Chambers. Thank you for the comment. Thank you so much. I like to think I look good. Thank you. Even like I said, to me, this needs to go, but hey, I need to get my nails done, but you know, whatever. Okay, so my final read is for Mr. Copeland, Teddy Copeland. And he wants to know, is there anything around him? You know, I don't get there's anything around you that's really pressing, Teddy, but what I do get around you is just that you're another one. You need to stop resting on your laurels. You know what you want to do and just do it. But what I get around you, though, is overthinking. You're overthinking. You're thinking too much. Just go with it. And I think because you're one of those people where I won't say you don't like to take a risk, but risk is not your cup of tea. you're very much like, oh my God, but what if? But what if you win? What if you know, because I think you're looking at it like, well, what if I fail? What if I lose? Okay, well, that's the chance you take. That's the risk you take. That's true with life in general. You have to stop overthinking and just go with it. And what I'm also getting regarding you, and I don't mean to get too. Oh, thank you so much. But I don't mean to get too graphic. But also to get back in that bedroom and get back in y'all sex life. I'm just saying, get your life in your bedroom, honey, because y'all are missing it a little bit. You have it, but you don't have that. You have it, but that the flame could be a little higher. At least on my end, it feels like to me, because once again you're overthinking. That's ruining that too. But get back to the passion. Get back to the intimacy. Don't be afraid to open up to the person you love, to the people you love and you care about. I feel like growth is going to happen with you too regarding money as well. And you'll be fine. But I mainly get around y'all. Y'all need to get back in the bedroom and break them beds, honey, because I feel like for some reason, one of y'all in y'all couplehood is horny as a goat and don't want to say it. Just saying. So if that makes any sense, let me know. If it doesn't, it's okay. But yeah, but I do feel like, and I would say the next 4 months or so, financially, you're going to be okay. And somebody wants to buy a house or buy a home or something like that. So I'm getting that as well. And that's going to come, but that'll come not this year, but next. So, yeah. So I hope what I said made sense. If I didn't, let me know. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Exactly. And that's exactly what I mean when I mentioned that. Thank you, Ms. Hooks. That's exactly what I was trying to say. I wasn't saying like y'all should just be, you know what I mean? But what I'm getting around you is that connection you have, it's still there. It's just not as strong. And what I get is that once you bring the intimacy back into play, that connection will become strong again. Because you guys you're a great fit. But I just get that, you know, because of life, because of, you know, you both tend to doubt yourselves. Because of that, it's like, well, and then by the time you finally get together, all you want to do is sleep. So, because I keep seeing y'all going, hey, you know, so what I'm picking up around you is find some time, make some time just for one another. And I think also when you move, you won't be surrounded by a lot of naysayers. You'll be surrounded by just you and your boo. Yeah. So, all right, everybody. So it is now almost 8:30. And I thank you guys so much for joining me. It has been awesome. I am the fabulous Leo Brown. Like I said, if you have a question, if you want to get a one-on-one reading with me, you may go to my website, which is psychicleo.com. That's psychicleo.com. You can follow me on Twitter at The Real Leo Brown, Instagram, The Real Leo Brown as well. You can, let's see, what else? And you're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Let's see. You can go to my YouTube channel, though I don't do it as often as I should, but I am going to start back doing more YouTube videos. I really am. Because I have a lot to say. Let's see. Yeah, all forms of social media. Just look me up. Don't forget to like my page on Facebook, which is The Real Psychic Leo Brown. You can like my business page. Please do that, because a like actually means that you show support. It means a lot. So thank you so much. And until next time, dolls, it is me, the fabulous Leo Brown. And yeah, I will talk to you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.